under the chilly moonlight. "How can you still be cold?" I asked with a gentle laugh, offering my jacket as a shield against the brisk night air. She shivered, her breath visible in the frigid air. "I'm anemic, and you're crazy. It must be below freezing out here." I shrugged, my arms outstretched to embrace the cool fall breeze as it rustled through the park. "I'm fine." Her eyes sparkled as she rolled them, her ears twitching, a delightful quirk that reminded me of a cat. I found her endearing, wrapped up snugly against the cold, often found basking in sunlight by the window or huddled by the radiator, lost in a book. In the summer, she transformed into a sunseeker, clad in barely enough to stay cool. It made me hit the gym harder just to keep up when we ventured to the beach or pool. As I pulled her closer, my arm around her, she leaned into me. "I like it here," she said softly. I looked around. The city's hum softened by the park's tranquility. "I like it here too." She chuckled, pressing closer. "What's so funny?" "Nothing," I replied with a grin. "A taste of beauty." "What are you doing?" I asked, curiosity piqued as she dipped her hands into a bowl of chicken soup, pulling out a piece of chicken and popping it into her mouth. "New beauty treatment," she replied with a mischievous smile. I settled beside her, my gaze lingering. "It's hard to improve on perfection." She rolled her eyes, her ears twitching with playful indignation. "That line's cheesy." "Did it work?" I asked, leaning in. "Maybe," she teased, her smile lighting up the dim room. "The culinary adventure." "Fuck," she exclaimed, her voice tinged with frustration. "Everything okay?" I asked, rising from my chair as the aroma of her cooking filled the air. Her meals were always an adventure, an odd blend of spices and heavy on the meat. "I cut myself, but it's fine," she said, cradling her hand and dismissing my concern. I stepped into the kitchen, seeing her with a knife and a surprising splash of green hot sauce. "You sure? Let me get the first aid kit." "I'm fine," she insisted. I retreated, dreading what she might be adding to the steak with that hot sauce. Moonlit revelations. As I lay beside her, the moonlight danced on her skin, making it seem as though light fell into her rather than reflecting from her. I noticed the small, horn-like spike on the back of her neck oozing a green mist, something I'd come to expect. I sighed, contemplating the mystery of her origins, perhaps the large Magellanic Cloud, Alpha Centauri, or even the Andromeda Galaxy. Drifting into sleep, a smile tugged at my lips. At this point, I was so enchanted by her that I didn't care if she might devour me. A hidden connection. She sat at her computer, absorbed in its glow, her skin absorbing the light of the screen. I watched her, noting the strange antenna array in the attic, an unspoken secret in our small townhouse. "Coming to bed?" I asked. "In a minute," she said, focused. "I need to figure this out." "Trying to contact your homeworld?" I asked, half joking. Her ears twitched, and she chuckled softly. "Something like that." "I know you can trust me," I said. "I've noticed the effects of your pheromones. It's been hard to think of anything but you." She looked up, her expression a mix of surprise and apprehension. "You knew?" "For about 6 months," I confessed, holding up a small vial. "I figured out how to suppress it. I didn't want to say anything because, well, people don't take alien stories seriously." Her eyes widened. "Are you mad?" I took her hand. "I was worried you might eat me in the middle of the night. But now, I want to see the real you." With a deep breath, she closed her eyes. Her ears shifted, her teeth adapted, and her skin absorbed more light, her true form shimmering into view. "Do I look okay?" she asked nervously. I cupped her face and kissed her gently. "You look beautiful." "Morning rituals." I placed a plate of breakfast in front of her. She yawned, her ears drooping like a cat's, revealing her predatory teeth. I forced myself to ignore the instinctive shiver it sent through me. Bacon pancakes, eggs, and corned beef. Perfect, she said, her eyes sparkling with delight. I'm sticking with fruit, I replied, taking a bite of my apple. All this meat is wreaking havoc on my digestive system. She shuddered at the sight of my apple, as if I were eating raw steak. Do you know what's in plants? I grinned. Well, you did eat a raw squirrel from the backyard yesterday. She laughed. That's different. And I'm cooking tonight. I winced, bracing myself. You know what those brown balls are called, right? Potatoes, she said with a playful smirk. But seriously, how is eating something dug from the ground appealing? You ate a squirrel, I countered. She chuckled. Well, now it won't steal from the bird feeder. A cozy evening. Curled up on the couch, under a shared blanket, we watched our Netflix queue. She laughed, a soft chirp as the episode unfolded. What's so funny? I asked, holding her closer. Does he really have to bang every alien? She asked, pointing at the screen. What's wrong with that? I asked, hugging her tighter. Her ears twitched, her hair brushing my face. Is that all humans think of when meeting aliens? And our first date was any different? I teased. She blushed, her camouflage instincts blurring her features. That was different. 10 minutes after meeting, you practically dragged me to your room. I thought it might have been dinner, I said with a grin. She blushed deeper. I was in heat. Cold-blooded but in heat, that's an interesting combination, I mused. Not exactly cold-blooded and in heat is a rough approximation, she explained. I nodded, pulling her closer. When's the next time you go into heat? She smiled mischievously. I'm not telling. Keeps you on your toes. I smiled, feeling the warmth of her closeness.